It's your NBL Canada post-game recap.
Welcome, fans, inside Scotiabank Centre. I'm joined by Audley Stevenson and Matt Elliott. Fellas, this game was pretty much dominated by the London Lightning from the opening tap. In game number 4, they didn't have the services from the very best player in this league, Royce White, on suspension, unable to play due to a technical foul that was called in that game, and he had to watch from his hotel room, but he sure did show up in game number 5, and he made a presence.
Well, he did, and I mean, as you said, when the MVP steps up, you know, this is what he's supposed to do as the best player in the league, and I was really impressed overall with his composure, how he carried himself, how he kept his feelings and emotions in check. You know, there's that possible concern where, you know, you want to try and do too much all at once, and he didn't do that. Whether he got the foul calls, whether he didn't get them, whether he hit shots, whether he didn't get the shots, he had an overall well-composed game.
And it wasn't just Royce White that showed up for the London Lightning. It was also Kyle Johnson. Kyle Johnson was tremendous this evening, knocking down 3 balls early and often throughout the ball game. Matt, talk a little bit about his performance.
Well, you said it. He was on fire, and it was a matter of, for Halifax, it was a matter of pick your poison, and that's what it's been like all series. If it's not Royce White, it's going to be Capers. If it's not Capers, it's Johnson. If it's not Johnson, it's Anderson. So it's a pick your poison. Today it was Johnson and it was Royce White, and they both played outstanding.
So it's like if the left doesn't hit you, the right will, right?
So an outstanding ball game for Royce White, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 2 block shots. That's the stat line. We had an opportunity to speak to Royce after the game.
I mean, we just treated it like a game 7. You know, at this point, every game counts. Obviously, we had an unfavorable decision from the league with me being suspended. They capitalized on that, as they should. Took us down 2-2, and we came out here tonight and we fought tough. And we stuck to our game plan for the most part of the night, and we ended up getting the win like we needed to. You know, anytime you get suspended for a game in the fashion that I did, all they did was set it up for me to come back and do that. Like, honestly, there was nothing else I could do but then come out and get 30 and 10 and 8 and 4. So it just shows that, you know, maybe game 4 wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And now they know they got to see me regardless for the last 2 games or 1 game, and that's a load, no matter what. So, you know, we're going to have a good tilt for game 6. I tried to take my time early on. I mean, I wasn't trying to be overly aggressive. I was still trying to get in the paint and make some shots, but I wasn't trying to do anything too overly aggressive. Obviously, you know, a lot of tense feelings build up when you got to watch the game from a hotel. So I had to, you know, intentionally keep my energy at a high level, but also not overly out of control or anything. So I just weathered the storm through some adverse calls tonight at the rim, and ended up, you know, being able to get some easy buckets from my teammates, really.
So huge game for Royce White. You know, I mean, guys, I mean, this was a type of feeling in this building where there was some unrest. Basically, they came into this game knowing that their backs were against the wall, that is the Hurricanes, and knew they had to try to get this win, and it just didn't show up. But on the flip side, Kyle Julius had some work to do, and he had some work to do making adjustments from game number 4, and he made them.
Well, I thought he did well overall. You know, very much similar to Royce White, how his game was composed. I thought Kyle Julius did a good job of sort of managing the game overall. And, you know, again, with all the weapons you talked about, you know, Matt, the different guys they can cycle in and out and give them the shot in the arm they need at the different points in the game. And I thought he did that.
And we had an opportunity to speak to the head coach of the London Lightning, and here's what he had to say.
Well, I mean, coming into this one, we haven't really played well. I mean, we've had these discussions. We haven't really played well. We haven't had multiple shooters shoot the ball well on the same night. And I just kept telling the guys, it'll break open. We talk about it breaking open during games, but you got to make it break. You know, you got to make it break open. You got to execute the game plan. You got to stay the course. You can't let, you know, officiating or whatever get to you. And I felt like we've been distracted these first couple games of the series, even at home. There's a bunch of off-court stuff that we've had to deal with. And, you know, there was off-court stuff all the way up until this morning. It was the first day that I said we went through shoot-around without dealing with off-court stuff. We had a good shoot-around today. We came out and we played at a high level. No disrespect to Halifax at all. I have a tremendous amount of respect. I mean, they got guys that you can't let go. They're hitting threes 4 feet behind the line. They're very well coached. They play hard for that coach. But to be perfectly honest, we haven't played well. And when we do play well, we play a certain way. We average 115 points a game. You know, we do things like that. I told the guys today before the game, literally, I wrote it on the board. If you play our game, it'll be 115 to 90. That's what I told them. And so we just have to stay the course and not let things distract us or bother us.
So the London Lightning could do no wrong in their game plan and their scouting report. They were bang on for game number 5, made no mistakes, played a picture-perfect 48 minutes. On the flip side for the Hurricanes, not so much.
Yeah, that's true. The Lightning played the game that they had to play. We talked about this last time. It was going to... the team that played the most sense of urgency was the one that was going to win it, and the Lightning came out and they played their game. You talked about Royce White being calm and composed. Really, the whole team was, and that's what it came down to. Halifax suffered a couple of key injuries. They had to go with some reserves, but in the end, any game against London is an uphill battle, whether you're healthy or not, and this one, they came out on top.
And Matt, what do you think Coach Leslie has to do to make those adjustments for game number 6? It's a do-or-die situation for them. They know that there is no tomorrow.
Well, I mean, he's been great with his man management all season long, the way he rotates guys in and out. So the question is, who's he going to have available to him, and how is he going to move them in and out and play them in the game?
And we had an opportunity to speak to the head coach of the Halifax Hurricanes, and here's what Coach Leslie had to say.
Well, I thought we came out a little bit passive offensively, and I think that allowed London to get a few easy buckets early, and it gave them a little confidence. And we just kept talking about trying to play ahead early in the game, and we never got to that point. Got down by about 10 or 12. We brought it back, and we actually went ahead a little bit, but just weren't able to sustain it. You know, so it's one of those games where, you know, you lost it a little bit, got it back to about 8 or 9, and then, you know, just couldn't turn that corner to get it down to 5 or 6. And we felt if we could get it to that point, you know, we could get back in it again and go, but just never made the buckets to get us to that point. I mean, they're playing tough. You know, they are. It's hard for us right now to get buckets. You know, when with CJ out and Billy out, you know, we start to lose some offense inside and some rebounding, and but we've got to make that up somewhere. Guys got to go harder, and we got to pick up, you know, for the next guy.
So Coach Leslie looking for some answers from his veteran leadership, and look no further. We had an opportunity to speak to one of those veterans, Joey Haywood.
Oh man, first of all, you know, they're a really good team. We're well coached. We didn't match their intensity today. They bullied us a little bit, actually more than a little bit. So we got to come back firing back. So it's a good opportunity to bounce back, watch some game film, and just to make some slight adjustments on it. You know, certain times we were right there, we had them, you know, but you know they just, you know, when we make a mistake, they know how to counter it really quickly, and you could tell that they're a team and they play well together. So we just gotta play as a team, I think, take better shots, better shot selections, and play better defense and communicate on the backside.
So it comes down to one game for the Halifax Hurricanes and one opportunity, a huge opportunity at home for the London Lightning as they were going to Game 6 with a 3-2 lead. They got to be quite happy going back to Bud Gardens, where we'll possibly see a sellout.
Well, you know, I would expect no less from the Bud Garden fans and the London Lightning support because you know they back their team. What I think is really interesting about going back to London in this sort of scenario is we saw the exact same thing last year, where London had to come back to Halifax and they were down 2 games. They had to force a Game 6, and they did that on that incredible Stephen Maxwell tip in that the place went bananas here, and they went to Game 7. So we've seen this happen before. It's not impossible. It now just roles are reversed.
So it's an elimination game for the Hurricanes. Their back is against the wall. It's the first time for them where there is no tomorrow for them, Matt. I mean, it's do or die.
That's right, and it's unfamiliar territory for them. So they've got to come out and they've got to put it all. To be cliche, they've got to leave it all on the floor because this is it. This could be it for them. They lose this game, the season's over. But they've got, if they win it, they've got another shot, and they're well aware of that, and coach is well aware of that. And I think they'll come out this game firing.
So the scene shifts to London, Ontario, inside Bud Gardens, where we expect a sellout for game number 6. For Audley Stevenson and Matt Elliott, I'm Vince Williams saying so long, and we'll see you in game number 6.